This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. We begin with news of major problems for government's transport augmentation program. Less than 3 months in, there are reports of a steady decline in numbers, with less than 5 privately owned public service vehicles, PSVs, now signed on. They're being used to bolster the Transport Board's fleet. But despite falling way short of the 100 PSV target, authorities aren't pulling the brakes on the program. Instead, Acting Assistant Director of Planning at the Transport Authority, Carolyn Yard, says it's been reviewed.
It's not going as well as we had anticipated, but there are still persons in the program, so it is still ongoing. And from what we've gathered so far, those persons are not having that, are in the program, are not having any issues with it. Whether it makes sense to continue, it is being reviewed at this point in time to see how best we can shore up what we have. And persons are still expressing an interest in it. So daily we get queries from permit holders who want to know what it is about, what is involved in it. So there is still some interest out there. As you said, the Transport Board fleet is still, the numbers are still down.
Still with the transportation sector, the Alliance Owners of Public Transport is demanding measures at the Spicetown bus terminal to prevent preferential treatment for state-owned Transport Board buses. The demand follows a government decision to shift private minibuses and route taxi operators from their base at the roadside of Spicetown to the bus terminal. Alliance President Roy Raphael says they're not against the move, but want assurances of a level playing field.
There must be a terminal management or committee that must be set up to ensure that one, of the safety of the passengers or workers, and to ensure equity is played while they are in the terminal. I think too often, though, we have situations where we get complaints from PSV operators where they're reported mostly by a police officer, where the Transport Board did the same offense, bypass. But we want to be treated as one public transportation. And I think the move is a very good one.
A 68-year-old Gemswick St. Philip woman is making a public appeal for help after an elderly neighbor blocked road access to her home. Audrey Darlington is particularly worried since her wheelchair-bound brother is ill and requires constant treatment. She tells Barbados Today that her family has been using the road for decades. But the 82-year-old man says the road is part of his property and he's prepared to defend his action in court. In sports, equipment has been donated to the University of the West Indies Open Campus that will help save the lives of athletes. The defibrillator was donated by the Barbados House in Montreal yesterday. That device is used to treat people having sudden cardiac arrest by sending a shock to the heart to restore the normal rhythm. Open Campus Principal Dr. Luz Longsworth says this will be particularly beneficial to the Faculty of Sports as it expands its program offerings.
The lack of a defibrillator has always been pointed to as one of the areas that may have, been problematic for the sports team. And so for us in the Open Campus, where we in particular represent across the region our athletes, and we often go to sporting events where there is no defibrillator nearby, that this gift, which is so mobile,
very mobile,
will be a tremendous addition to our medical resources for our athletes of the Open Campus, and will help to protect our students, save lives, and that.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In the region, Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse yesterday named Fritz Williams Michel Prime Minister following the resignation of his predecessor who failed to win parliamentary approval for his government. Michel is formerly an executive in the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Moïse's fourth head of government in his 2.5 years in office. The appointment followed consultations between the president and the leaders of the two chambers of parliament, signaling a resumption of dialogue between the three political heavyweights after months of turmoil. The president must now formalize the decision with an official decree. And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is pushing ahead with its attempts to crack down on migration at the southern border. It has also been defending a virtual ban imposed on asylum seekers while issuing its second sweeping order within a week. We get the details from Reuters TV.
Previously, only immigrants caught within 100 miles of the border who had been in the country 2 weeks or less could be quickly deported. But going forward, any apparent illegal crosser who cannot prove to agents that they have been living in the country for 2 years could be ordered deported, and fast. The DHS says that increasing rapid deportations would free up space in detention centers and ease the strain on immigration courts facing a backlog of cases. The ACLU, which has fought against many Trump immigration policies in court,
immigration law
called the new rule unlawful and vowed to sue. The announcement comes as a deadline was reached Monday for the U.S. to decide whether Mexico had sufficiently cut the number of Central American asylum seekers reaching the U.S. border to avert punitive tariffs. It's unclear how the U.S. wants to proceed, but Mexico says it will not agree to further discussion of a safe third country status.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.